Hello, this is Keng El Bey, and I'm talking about child support today. If a lot of you guys are still suffering from child support, we have the remedy. So I'm gonna get into some quick remedies. Most of you guys, I don't see a lot of people talking about these specific remedies. You have to do certain levels, say certain steps, and there's levels to this to get your remedies. If you're still filing a lot of motions and stuff like that, you're going to have a hard time. But we're going to get into some quick remedies, and I'm going to explain to you some information that can help you with child support. Because we have a program now or a system at Must, and we will take you through some layers and some steps in which you would need to do to eradicate, get rid of child support permanent, have it go away. Let me explain to you what is going on and give you a few quick remedies. First of all, we all know about the birth certificate. Everybody talk about the birth certificate and the signing of the birth certificate. In relation to signing the birth certificate, the affidavit of birth is to create, that's what they're creating the birth certificate from. So you have to understand that you got to understand that process first. So you have to understand that is the first thing that's going on once you sign it, and then they create the birth certificate. When you have a child support hearing or a child support hearing with the hearing officer, what the hearing officer has to validate that you signed the acknowledgement of the birth certificate. They're using that acknowledgement through a form of an affidavit and testifying and witnessing that you signed the birth certificate. It's not the birth certificate themselves that is winning the case. It's the affidavit in which the hearing officer is using, and it's a form that they're filling out, that it's an affidavit, and then they're having the judge, or in my perspective state, this is what's going on, they're having a judge sign off on it to make it an order and make it enforceable. So, a lot of you guys, what is happening is you're not objecting to the process, and I'm going to give you a quick step. You're not challenging the affidavit in which the hearing officer is validating through a form of affidavit saying that you sign it. What I'm going to tell you to do is protest the signing of the birth certificate affidavit. Make them prove that that's your signature. I haven't heard no one say that or tell you that. Make them prove that's your signature. Challenge the validity of that. You could do it through a motion and an affidavit. You could do a motion and then have an affidavit in support of that motion if you plan on going to court. And challenge the validity of that and make them prove that you signed the birth certificate. Now, how could a hearing officer or someone else validate your signature? They can't. So it's fraud. So they're witnessing, they're trying to say that is your name on the birth certificate. The notary has to be a witness. That's what the notary is doing, is witnessing that you signed the birth certificate. So they will have to subpoena in the notary. And the notary would have to testify and validate that was you that day that signed the birth certificate. And then you can then say, well, please validate that it was me. You can then question the notary and have the notary recall if it was you or not. Do you understand me? Because there is no what they call attestation of notary, which you're validating anything on the notary. So that's just one way. That's one remedy if you are going to court, or if you haven't been to court. Now, some of you guys who are up for a DNA challenge, sometimes they subpoena you, want you to give the DNA. It's easy. Just tell them that it's against your religious rights. You don't want to give up no bodily fluid. They will leave you alone in total. Quick, leave you alone. Say, nope. Send them a letter, certified, verifying that you're not giving up your DNA because it's against your religious rights. That's easy. So these are steps that you can take. Now, I just want to also let you know that there's a process before adjudication and after adjudication, meaning that if you've never been to court and a court order was never established, it's things that you can do like that. There's some of the remedies that you can do. I just gave 2 examples on before having a court order. If you already been adjudicated and did all of that, you can still challenge that. Saying you can statutes. There's no statutes of limitation on fraud. That's another way you could go back and challenge the validity of that. They will have to actually get that hearing officer. You can say, well, I never seen that document. I was never aware what was used. The court, in my case, the court never gave me the exhibit. I did that through finding out, digging through my files. The court never gave me the exhibit of the attestation when I went to court. They are evading due process. I wasn't afforded the right to review the evidence. I was never afforded the right to review the evidence before they established the claim. That is an evasion of due process. They're using a process and they're having a hearing and they're using evidence that you don't have, that they never gave you a right to review. So that evades due process. You have to know that is also a substantive and a procedural requirement. That you have to have knowledge of this. Lack of knowledge of what they're doing is a procedural and substantive violation at the same time. So you have to be aware of that. So that's an evasion. That's an evasion of due process, but you can't argue the due process issue after adjudication if it's not within a particular time frame, because everything is time sensitive. But what I would like to say, you can argue the element of fraud on that matter on that that the hearing officer or whoever provided the affidavit testimony, if that happened in your case, that they didn't provide you with the evidence and they committed fraud by verifying that you signed the birth certificate and you saying you never did, and that would just change right there. That would vacate the order in itself altogether if you know what you're doing. That's just some steps on Keng El Bey giving you some quick steps on child support. I'm trying to give you guys some simple and easy remedies. So if you still having child support, this is Keng El Bey. Check us out. Subscribe. We also have the Must TV going on with the new Kemit TV. We're going to be having a lot of information and resources going on now to help provide people with information on this subject matter. I'll be going in on a lot of this information now. I'm boots on the ground. I was boots on the ground for many years and dealing with court, going into court and discovering a lot of different remedies and using different subject matters and venues. And I created a whole system, entire system, because you have to have a system to beat a system in order to know how to deal with certain things when they come up. You have to be able to respond, and they already have certain things in place, and they practice this over and over, so they know how to respond to things or to appropriate the appropriate response to the particular situation. And we have done the same thing. So if you still having child support issues, shame on you. This is Keng El Bey with more legal knowledge. We're dropping this off. Like I said, subscribe. Look at the call the number that's gonna pop up on the video, and also you could call and check out the website. Please give us a call if you still having issues with child support. There should be some numbers in this video. Also, there should be some more information with the website and everything. Some things are still under this construction. So if you do call, give us time to call you back, and we're gonna resolve the issue now. This is Keng El Bey. If you're still having child support problems, give us a call. Peace.